Turn.
Oh, I've just been being lazy all day. That's what I've been doing. That's because I can be.
Yeah, I hear you there. I can
I
be
woke up
really.
this morning, went, you know what? I really don't feel like trying hard today, so I'm just gonna work a little bit, Google a little bit, work a little bit, Google a little bit.
That should sound better. I just don't understand why the camera's moving so slow. What's up, Raging?
Hola, Rejan. Hello, Randy.
I can't figure this out. The camera seems to be acting like totally different today.
Well, your computer might your
No,
computer
I
might
moved
be
everything.
buffering it.
I moved everything around in the garage.
Did you try setting your camera's resolution a little bit lower? Because sometimes if your graphic card might not keep up to the your your um your DPI setting.
Let me see what it's saying. That's all set up, right? Whatever. I don't care. We'll deal with it like that for now.
So what did you do all day?
I worked.
Yeah. What did you work on? Anything
Car.
exciting? Cars. Same crap, different vehicle.
Yep. Um. Did I have anything interesting today? I don't think so. No, nothing out of the ordinary. I was actually helping Frosty pop on. He sent me an interesting email. I'd like a little bit more explanation on it.
Interesting.
I'm not quite sure what he was talking about. My internet might be glitching a little bit. We had some serious freaking storms here tonight.
Yeah.
Dude, they totally. I mean, I feel like Mr. Miyagi. I gotta go replant my whole garden. Seriously, it uprooted tomato plants that are freaking 4 foot tall.
Wow.
I swear, I think I lost my tree in the front yard. I think I'm gonna have to take it down because it's basically almost ripped it right out of the ground.
Well, I guess you're gonna have to go find yourself a Daniel stand then. Daniel-san, planta de tomato.
Strong root. Strong
From
plant.
the roots. Bonsai.
And then I go down the basement. I forgot how I went down the basement for, and I'm like, I'm listening, like the sump pump's not shutting off. So I played with the switch a little bit, and it shut off. But obviously, the switch has gone bad on it. So I have to get a switch kit tomorrow.
That means you got to make a trip to the hardware store.
No,
Just dodge the tool aisle. Just dodge the tool aisle.
it won't be the hardware store. I go to a place called Utica Pump here. I just need a switch or switch / rebuild kit for a half horsepower Zoller sump pump. I don't know if you're familiar with the Zoller sump pump, but I can't complain. It's like 18, almost 19 years old. Those things were beasts.
Yeah.
Do you guys have many sumps in the area of the country you live in?
On the island, not really, because we don't get much water flooding, but we do install sumps into the houses just in case. But in the flatter lands, like in the mainland of like BC and stuff like that, in the lowlands, always have a sump because the water table is actually sits higher in most of the land does. We just have a dam that blocks it all off. But on the island, sumps aren't really used that much.
And you guys put a pump in the sump. What do you guys use?
Pretty much usually just a plain Jane everyday off the shelf sump pump. We don't really use anything fancy or high flow. No.
Let's see here. If we get nasty rains, you'll overheat a cheap sump pump. This is a submergible sump pump, half horsepower submergible.
Yeah. That's pretty much what we use up here. Just little half horsepower to a quarter to half horsepower submersibles.
All cast iron, built still the way they used to build them back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And like if I went and bought a cheap rigid or some shit from Home Depot, it'd probably last me like a year or two, or wouldn't even keep up with a real heavy storm. It'd overheat, shut off, thermal protect mode, and eventually I'd have water in my basement. I do not like the way this camera's coming across. I want to know why it's doing something different.
Right now, I'm looking into this conspiracy theory that all the presidents are related to King John, and so far it seems that it's not a conspiracy theory. It may be real. But if you're not related to King John, you'll never become president.
Yeah, Frosty must have fell asleep.
Well, that's better than him forcing himself to stay awake all the time. Sometimes I feel bad for him. Like,
Yeah, I've never used the Wayne sump pump, but I'm sure it'll do the job. All I know is if you have a good working Zoller, you're not going to flood your basement. It'll pump it as fast as it brings it in. Fucking gnats out here like a motherfucker. Do you think ant killer will kill gnats too? I wouldn't see why it wouldn't.
It should. They're technically almost the same bug.
Oh, I gotta grab the one that don't fucking spray. What kind of luck is that? Let's see if that helps me now. Sprayed all those little bastards. Now I don't know what's worse, the little bastards or the smell of the spray.
Who's that? Who's that? What are you doing? You're eating? Good boy.
Yeah, peroxide works well, JWC. I got to get some. We always hit a point in time here every summer where you get fruit flies and little gnats, and they're everywhere. And you think you got everything that attracts them gone, and they show back up all the time with a vengeance.
I'll use peroxide and bleach, but I also keep my plug in my sink during the summertime. So that way nothing goes down in, nothing comes out. So. Yeah, I pretty much got it back together. I just got to put fluids in it. Today I was lazy. I didn't feel very ambitious this morning. But yeah, I got it all back together and in there. Just got to put the fluids in it now and take it for a test drive. But before I can take it for a test drive, I got to take the kid's bumper off because he's got oversized tires and they're constantly digging into the bumper.
Well, Randy, you probably have ants outside your house or underneath your foundation or something. You probably got like sand or some shit where the ants are just having a dream. They're having a hell of a good time. And they find the littlest crack or the littlest hole somewhere and they come in. I don't know if cucumber peels keep ants away in Michigan. I think our ants like cucumber peels.
Lord. Ah,
You act like an old man.
it's because I am. I got a kick out of it when Fluffy almost tried to call me expired on his stream. Yeah, I'm almost expired. I'm not quite expired yet, Fluffy. I'm an expired mechanic.
Now I'm gonna be itching all night just knowing I had a few freaking gnats on me. I'm gonna be like feeling like I got a gnat on me, even though there's not. I like the RT wrench set. Do you know what they're talking about, Turner? The RBRT wrench set?
Yeah, those are those Mac ones, aren't they? Those fancy Mac ones.
They're branded Mac at the current time, yeah. But they're not the only ones that make a wrench like that. To my knowledge, I think also trying to think. I'm sure they come in handy if you run into an application that you need it. I have so many damn wrenches, it ain't funny. That's one thing I haven't done in a while is bomb my house. I haven't bombed it or bug bombed it. Got too many animals here. I spray for spiders and stuff in the perimeter of the basement and all the dark, damp areas.
No, you're supposed to catch those spiders, relocate them to the sink so they can eat all the gnats.
The spiders that do run around, if they're inside the house, I feel like there's gnats on me. My cats eat them. Both my cats are totally amused by spiders. Or any insect that they can get. My cats get flies, they eat spiders, they kill everything. So you done any new videos, Turner, that have got you in good views?
I got a couple decent views, but nothing really too impressive. Nothing to write home about.
To be honest, the last week or so, I haven't really paid much attention to YouTube.
Yeah. Dude, man, come on, don't be like that.
A 4-inch spider in diameter. I don't know if my cat would mess with that. I got some big ones on the outside of the house, I'll tell you that. I think they're called wolf spiders. But they get pretty big. But they seem to like not want to be here. They like see you and they're gone. They're back in bushes, back down on the grass. They see her person, they're like, I'm out of here. Fucking gnats. I'm gonna bomb this fucking garage tomorrow. What, Raging was dropping off a load somewhere? Yeah, I got those JWC by me, man. I think they're called wolf spiders. They're big.
Trapdoor and wolf spiders do have a tendency to get big, mostly if they're in a good environment. It's just like up here in Canada, we got black widows now because of fruit coming from Australia.
Well, they claim we have the brown, was it called brown lacrosse or lacrosse?
Brown recluse, yeah, they are. You don't want to get bitten by one of those because it's
I
worse
did
than
get bit
black
by
widow.
one of those. I got put in the hospital and it started killing my flesh on the back of my leg. I got
They're
bit.
worse.
I was on a charter fishing boat that was leaving out of Ludington, Michigan.
Yeah.
And I just felt a little something, and I never even paid attention to it. And I next thing you know, I'm like, well, something ain't right here. And I showed it to the charter fishing captain. And he's like, dude, we gotta get you back in. You got bit by something that your body ain't liking.
Yeah.
And they got me back in, took me to the hospital, and they're like, that's a brown lacrosse that you got bit by. And they treated me for it.
You're lucky that you managed to keep your legs, so because some people will lose their limbs over those things.
Well, that's why the charter fishing captain said, I gotta get your ass back in now. You got bit by something that your body don't like. The hospital luckily knew exactly what it was right away. They knew it was a spider bite. And they pretty much had a rough idea of what it was just by what was already doing to my flesh. And I don't remember what they gave me and what they did, but took care of it. I did spend 3 days in the hospital though.
Yeah.
They wanted to keep me longer, but I told them I had to get out of there. Go home. Actually, it happened right before the boat left the dock, and I didn't realize what bit me. I thought it was a skeeter. I never actually saw the spider.
Yeah.
What happened to it, I have no idea. I'm sure it was still on the boat. I'm sure it was still on the boat.
Probably.
Well, I'm sure the charter or the fishing charter captain, whatever you want to call it, I'm sure he sprayed and checked. 'Cause he asked me, when did I said, right as we were leaving the dock. He said, all right. So I didn't get me any salmon that trip.
Right now, I'm just playing on Amazon with their Amazon Days, their deals that they got going on right now, trying to get the best price on stuff.
I think it's 11th through the 13th. They're going to have those deals.
Just enough time to try the different suppliers and their and that to get the price down as low as I possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
What day is today? Today is.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I was supposed to fish. It was a charter I paid for. The captain was friendly enough to give me and my because none of my friends went back on that I went with. But he gave us a rain check.
At least he did that for you.
So late in the year we ended up going back out. I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing. It was fine for me. There's a link if anybody wants to join in. It was not bad for me, but my friend didn't like it. He got seasick. It was a little rough on Lake Michigan. It was probably mid to late September.
Mm-hmm.
When he took us out, it was pretty rough. I mean, there's water splashing overboard at times, so I mean. But my buddy got seasick. I told him it's because he didn't drink enough beers, but I still think if he'd have drank a few more beers, he'd have been fine. But
Or Ralph and even more.
well, I've had friends in the Coast Guard. I've had friends in the United States Navy and all that, and they all told me that it could be a small ship, it could be a big ship, it could be really rough waters where you're like, holy shit, this is crazy, or it could be the calmest thing in the world, the calmest day in the world. But like, you'll get seasick one of those days. Somebody, if you never had it in your life, you'll get seasick. And they're like, it'll be like the worst, like 72 hours of your life. But once it happens to you, I guess, I mean, I can't say it never happens to you again. I mean, if you go 20 years without being back on a boat or 10 years, I'm sure it'll happen again. But like for like Navy personnel, submarine and all that, once, as long as they keep staying on it, it'll never happen to them again. And if it does, I'm sure they find something else for you to do.
Right.
They don't keep you on a ship if you're going to get seasick every time. I had a friend that was in the United States in the Navy, and after he got out of the Navy, he decided to join the Coast Guard. And he thought he'd never get seasick. He's like, you have no idea what the Coast Guard deals with when it goes to like going out and saving small fishing charter boats and commercial fishing boats and all that. But he said when he was on a Coast Guard, I forget how big of a vessel they were on. He's like, you have no idea what it's like to look at a 30-foot wave and have to ride up the son of a bitch, and half of it slams over on you. And if you don't ride right into it, it's going to flip you over. He's like, you ever watch the movie Perfect Storm? I'm like, yeah, I've seen it. He goes, dude, I've been in shit like that. I'm like, oh yeah, I'd have got seasick for sure. Tarek is being Tarek. Should have asked him, are you sick from the dick? Or is it the flu? It ain't about you or your bitch ass crew.
Damn.
You ever been on the Great Lakes? They get pretty rough, man. Lake Superior will freaking give you a test.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Is that those lakes are big enough to see almost the same weather the ocean would.
Actually, they said that they measured hull pressures in Lake Superior to that is like higher than the Gulf of Mexico and Atlantic Ocean and all that. Because what is it? Let me see if I get this right. It's fresh water in Lake Superior, very fresh water. And the boat sits deeper into the water. So the hull pressures are much harder on the boat because of it sitting deeper. And salt water is what more punch it, or is it buoyant? The vessel will sit higher in salt water.
Yeah.
Just based on the fact it's salt water. I don't remember the term. It's buoyancy.
Yeah, buoyancy. That is the term, buoyancy.
Yeah, but like Lake Superior's got spots where it's over 1,000 feet deep. At least I think it does. I believe Lake Superior is the largest freshwater, the largest and deepest freshwater lake in the world.
What is?
Lake Superior, I believe, is.
There's a couple lakes that sonar can't even reach the bottom. There's one in the U.S., one in China, and two in Canada. And Cultus Lake is one of them. Cultus Lake is known as the bottomless lake.
Well, I think Lake Superior is deep as shit.
Oh, it's deep. It's for out of many of the lakes, it's actually probably has one of the deepest bellies.
I believe in spots it's over 1,000 feet deep.
Yep.
It broke the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Yep.
Well, it broke a lot of vessels. How many are underwater in Lake Superior? I mean, there's at least 12 or 13 big ships I know of that broke down in Lake Huron.
For big ships, there's probably about 20, maybe 30, and then there's the old wood ships that got sunk during the Revolution era. And then I know there's a bunch of paddlers down in there. There's probably just as many boats in that lake as there is in the ocean.
Lake Erie is a great lake. It's one of the smaller of them, but it's Superior, Huron, Michigan, Erie, and then Ontario
Mhm.
when it comes to size. And was it Lake Superior, Lake Huron, Lake Erie, and Lake Ontario we share with Canada. And Lake St. Clair and the Detroit River. I actually think Canada actually joins in the cost of the Soo Locks up in the UP. Which allows the freighters to come in, but they come in off of Turner. Come on,
Oh God!
something Seaway.
Yeah, I can't remember what they call it.
Fuck. Why am I brain farting?
Well, I know
They can
I
come
know
in all the way from the Atlantic Ocean. They can come on up.
they come in through the St. Lawrence
Something
River to
fast.
Lake Ontario, Lake Erie, then to Lake Huron, and that.
Oh, but they are also there's another passage they can cut through and go into Superior. Is it St. Lawrence Seaway?
No, the St. Lawrence River and Seaway only goes into Lake Ontario. Then from Lake Ontario, they go to Erie, then Huron, then to Superior. I'm not sure.
I thought there's something that went into Lake Superior.
I thought there was too. I thought there was a bridge over from Ontario to Superior. I'm just trying to look it up right now.
There is. It's up around the locks, just north of the locks.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what they call the damn thing.
Buffalo, Detroit, Cleveland, Holland all have big ports. So does Chicago. So does Alpena, Michigan. So does Marquette. Is it Marlette? No, it's not Marlette, Michigan. I'm trying to think. What is Soo Locks? Because I know that's how they get the big ships from Superior to Huron and from Huron to Superior. But I thought there was a route that took them right into Superior itself too.
No, it just goes into Lake Ontario. Then they have it looks like a bypass to Huron, then to.
Well, I know they
to
can go either way. They can go either way. They're redoing those Soo Locks right now.
Yeah.
So it'd be up in Sault Ste. Marie area. They're called the Soo Locks because it's in Sault Ste. Marie. So there's a bridge that goes from Sault Ste. Marie or north of Sault Ste. Marie across to Ontario somehow or another.
Yeah. That's the thing. The Sault Ste. Marie flows right into Lake Ontario. I'm just trying to look here. Thurso, Fort Clone, Deep River, Roquelon. Nipsey Lake, Huron. Let's change the satellite view. There. St. Lawrence River. Huron. What is that? It goes all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Nope.
No, it's
And
the St. Lawrence Seaway. Goes all the way to Lake Superior.
I don't see St. Lawrence going anywhere to Lake Superior. Lake Superior is way too far away, and there's nothing on Google Earth on it either. It just shows St. Lawrence River and St. Lawrence Seaway.
It says 16 separate locks. Get them there.
Yeah, and the Seaway goes through Lake Ontario to Erie, from Erie to Huron, from Huron to Superior. And that's where the Seaway goes. There's no actual straight line. And each lock is in between each lake. It would have been more economical for them to have dredged something, but they never did. Because you got the Niagara Falls Lake Lock.
No,
And
you
then
got
you got
the
the
Marys
lock,
River.
and there's the lock in Detroit.
You got the Marys River that comes off the Lawrence Seaway.
Nope, it's not. It doesn't go to Lake Superior at all. It actually terminates at Lake Nipissing. Nipissing. There are no other rivers that come off and go straight over. Robert Wall. Let's see what we got here. Nope, that doesn't go there. Saint-Laurent, Quebec City,
So it goes from Montreal to Lake Superior. 16 locks lifting load ships.
Yeah, that and the locks are being in between each lake. Because Montreal is literally dead center of the St. Lawrence River.
Mhm.
That's Ottawa. Coming up. I'm just looking at this.
The Niagara Falls are pretty wild, man. I went down them in a freaking wine barrel.
Lake.
I lived.
You have to look at this.
Mama said it was like a box of chocolates, like much for a bit. But I got my life back after going over those falls.
Mhm.
I did hit my buttock on a rock though. You ever seen Niagara Falls raging?
Uh-huh.
You've seen them?
Yep.
Would you ever try to go over them in anything?
Hell no.
Those people are fucking stupid. Any of them ever tried that shit. It's
I wouldn't mind pushing somebody into them, but yeah. Or a couple people. Just push them right over.
They still use Niagara Falls for power generation station.
I do believe they do. I do believe they still do.
I thought they were gonna like design a whole new system that was gonna like be able to power up like 3 times what they currently can power up with the falls.
Yeah, that all depends on if our current government decides to go through with it.
The falls have only stopped in our lifetime a few times.
Yep. It's gone dry a couple times.
Well, it froze a few times.
Well, see, the reason why it goes dry is because it actually doesn't work like a dam. It actually doesn't dam the water. It actually tries to feed off of, like, you got to remember how long the actual Niagara Falls are. There's the section of Niagara Falls that is untouched and everyone goes and sees. And then when you go around the next bend, that's where they have the hydroelectric motors, but they're actually built into the falls, and it's not an actual hydro dam, isn't damming the water back. Because that's the thing, they'd have to cut off all the falls to do that. They'd have to dam off the entire run. And the Niagara Falls, I think it's like almost 2.3 kilometers long. And that, so it just literally uses it. So when the water flow goes, but the only way they could really increase it is by actually making an actual dam and forming a reservoir adjacent to the falls. That's pretty much the only way they'd be able to do it. So,
yeah, I rode a ferry boat at the bottom of the falls before and walked under and through the cavern.
There, that's the St. Lawrence Waterway. That's the map of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why they had to put locks in it is because the elevation of each lake gradually gets higher and higher. So you pull into the lock, it floods the lock, lifts the boat up so it can go into the next lake. And then next lake, it fills the lock up with water, lifts the boat up again to be able to get into the next lake.
Yeah, what is it? I think it's either 12 or 18-foot difference between Lake Superior and Lake Huron.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the Sioux locks.
30,
before.
40. Well, Lake Superior is 600 feet above sea level. From Lake Erie, it's 30 feet difference, 30 feet height difference. And from Lake Ontario, it's 55 feet height difference. That's insane. But you got to remember, all the islands go up, and all the continents do slowly go up, and very rarely do they drop down.
My kids, they weren't impressed with the locks. They're like, Daddy, it's not that exciting. Just trying to teach you how they get from here to there. It's pretty cool to see the locks, so at the locks, because you'll see Lake Superior's here and Lake Huron's here. It's pretty cool how they bring the boats in and close down the walls, fill back up, do everything they got to do, send the ships on their way.
Yeah, here's a picture of one of the locks.
Jolly Ranchers.
Oh, I haven't had Jolly Ranchers in a long time, man. I almost forgot what they taste like.
What locks are those?
Those ones are the ones from... Oh, just trying to figure it out right now. Those are St. Lawrence. Those are from the... That's the St. Lawrence locks.
It looks like one hell of a water slide.
Yeah, what they do before they install the locks?
They picked the boats up, walked them across the land, walked them up the hills. You know, they had 20,000 men there ready to just carry it all the way up. That's the thing. Before the locks, they just built the boats in the lakes. They transported the stuff from one by carriage to the next lake, put it on the boat, took it across, and the smart people just loaded everything onto the train and took it across. And most of the boats that were built, most of the wood ships and stuff like that, and paddlers that were actually built, that were in the lakes, they were actually assembled in the lakes. They may not have been built there, but they were assembled there. But that's the thing. One of the largest shipbuilding yards in North America is in, I think it's Superior. I think it is. Not 100% sure. So they like to build U.S. military boats there.
Uh-huh.
And now I'm hungry. Thanks a lot, Cajun.
That's what we're good for.
I want candy.
That's what we're good for. Making people hungry.
Master lock. It comes off. No need for water. Transport. Master lock works every time. All the time.
See, I got one more tool video coming out. Either tomorrow or Friday. I may wait till Friday to put it out. I mean, I think that's it.
Where were you at, JWC? You stayed in a hotel with a bunch of parrots and some water slides.
No, I just have all the lights on because I had to process paperwork. That way, we'll make sure we get paid for the load.
Niagara Falls on the Canadian side. Most expensive Benny's breakfast you'll ever eat.
I found candy.
Niagara Falls
Yeah.
is probably the most expensive places.
Yeah, cookies
to
too.
travel.
Oh, Subway cookies too. I like their white macadamians. Those are damn good cookies.
What's that?
The Subway white macadamians. Oh, those are good cookies.
Damn. The wife bought a bag of bag of nuts.
Yeah, I guess yours just weren't good enough anymore. Are they salted at least?
These are honey roasted,
Ah.
and these are just dry roasted.
What does your wife prefer?
Mine.
No, the honey roasted.
Mine.
She has to eat them in moderation. I think she prefers the dry roasted plain salted peanuts.
Well, now I know what to do. You need
Yep.
some salt.
You know what the bad thing is? If you eat too many peanuts, the next morning you become a peanut butter jar on the toilet.
Uh-huh. Now I get to go down to Mason, Ohio, pick up something down there, and go back down to Olive Branch, Mississippi.
Fuck me.
And the cat meows.
Okay, the cat says. I hate when that happens. I'm gonna be on a sneeze-a-thon now for a half hour. So now you know what you got to keep around, Raging.
Right.
You gotta keep some salt at all times, and just in case, keep a little honey too.
Right.
Your wife says, "I want some nuts." Eat these nuts.
As he walks back to the truck from the store,
Yeah,
dressed
dry
as Winnie the
You
Pooh.
want dry roasted or honey roasted, baby?
As you see him walking out of the Circle K dressed as Winnie the Pooh, nuts and honey in his hands. I'm coming, dear. Where's my little piglet?
I'll be 5 minutes away from you, huh? I can't say that, JWC Tech. It's a high value load. That's all I know. That's all I can disclose.
Gold bullion. Quick, let's get him. Another truck heist.
Come on, be honest with them. You're picking up a freaking load for Dominic Toretto.
Probably.
You don't need to lie about this. JWC, you'll never see anything. It'll all disappear with the traffic trucks or the garbage trucks and law officers. And when you pull Raging over, it'd be like, I got no load. What he picked up is already gone. And nobody knows where Toretto is. I think his series of films passed up everybody now in the box office, has he not?
Possibly.
I think he is the Fast and Furious is the highest grossing what do you want to call it?
Franchise.
Yeah, ever in history. I think it beat Star Wars, it beat everything.
It may have a close running with the Rocky Balboa franchise.
Nah, dude, you're talking about 5 or 6 Rockies versus what? 12 fucking 13 Fast and Furious?
I don't know.
I don't think any of the Fast and Furious have ever been a complete bomb at the box office.
They only beat Star Wars because they didn't have Jar Jar Binks. The guy that played Jar Jar Binks, because of that role, his life hit rock bottom to the point where he stood on a bridge planning on jumping.
I've done that so many times. Then I say to myself, what the fuck are you doing? You're afraid of heights and that water is cold. And
then you remember that you knew how to swim.
By then, you already got the freaking state police on each side of you. And you're like, jumping off the Mackinac Bridge is not the best idea right now.
No.
Well, if you know how to swim, it's kind of pointless jumping off a bridge.
At the center point, the Mackinac Bridge, I think, is about, 150-foot drop?
Possibly.
and you're going to be dropping into water that has one hell of a current, and it's probably no warmer, even in the hottest week of July or August. Probably no warmer than 65 to 68 degrees. And that's at best. That's at surface temp. That's not what you're going to land into when you float down 30, 40, 50 feet before you could swim back up before the current takes you and never lets you back up.
Well, can I throw somebody off of that bridge?
As long as nobody sees you raging. I mean, we could talk about this off stream. I mean, I do have an Italian background.
I kid everybody in chat.
As much as you want to drown me, okay? Honestly,
No.
I'm not that bad.
Oh,
Not
Turner,
you.
you'd probably fucking come back up, you fucking Canadian, and you'd be like, the water ain't that fucking cold.
Well, actually, two people. I like to drown them both. Shit talking, can't take responsibility for their own actions. Want to blame it on everybody else. All right.
Well, if I see a fucking huge splash on TV that comes off the Mackinac Bridge, I'll know who it was.
Yeah.
But I'd be honest, do I know who it was? No. I think I know who it was? Possibly. They want to know the truth. You know, I'll tell them who it was. It was Jimmy Hoffa. Can you imagine what kind of fucking crate shit that would create? You'd have the FBI fucking hiring fucking Navy deep sea divers looking for Jimmy Hoffa in 2023 because some asshole like me said, "Oh, they just threw him off the fucking Mackinac fucking bridge with a bunch of bricks in his bones." I think we had a car go off the Mackinac Bridge. I think that's when the state of Michigan basically had to say, hey, no more, what the hell was that car? Yugos. The Yugo was too light, couldn't handle the winds that come across the straits there. They claimed to just pushed it right off the bridge. Me personally, I think the person that bought the Yugo realized what a mistake they made and they commit suicide.
Probably.
Well, I mean, how does a motorcycle get across? You trying to say motorcycle safer than a Yugo?
Good possibility.
Well, it probably is.
Less wind drag. When the current comes across that bridge, the bike will have less wind resistance. Where the Yugo, it's a tiny little air balloon that wants to go flying.
Oh, I tell you, it can be nerve wracking being on that bridge on a heavy, windy day if traffic's real heavy. And you sit there, and all of a sudden, you can't let your mind fuck with you.
Nope.
You know that you're on a suspended bridge and all that, and you see like there's like 15 raging Cajuns ahead of you. And you feel yourself fucking shifting a little bit this way and a little bit that way. You just gotta sit back and be like, we're all right.
It's kind of like going across the San Francisco Bay Bridge. Yeah.
Mackinaw's 5 miles from one side to another. And I'll tell you, the wind gets pretty heavy going across those lakes. Right up there in the thumb area or the top of the mitten area, it's rarely is it calm. There's at least always a 10 to 15 mile an hour wind going.
All right, ain't bad.
But better than the 70 miles an hour I was dealing with tonight. I'm looking at my freaking garden. I'm like, oh, you bastard. Mother Nature, you're a bastard. And then my mom's like, you're worried about your garden. I'm worried about that tree. I'm like, that tree in the backyard fucking starts to move and pull out of the ground. I said, you better hit your ass to get in the basement. And I was never thinking about the one out front. But I think it's called an October Glory maple tree in my backyard. It's been back there for 18 years. I mean, it's big. It's probably rooted. It's rooted deep, and it's rooted across the whole yard.
JWC Tech, what are you going to do with the box? Sell it or keep it?
In my way.
I hear more storms coming now. They said more would happen.
In my way.
I wouldn't doubt it. That's what Michigan's known for, rain and snow.
And I'll be honest with you, the last few summers, in the particular area of Michigan I live, we have not had exceptional amount of either the last few years. But it's hit and miss. Now,
Right.
northern Michigan, like that's Michigan. Or is that which way is Michigan to you guys? That'd be Michigan. Like I'm gonna say from say here across and up gets hammered with snow. Of course, the west side of the state gets hammered with snow, but rain all the time up in this area. They get rain like you wouldn't fucking. If you go like 3 days without rain, that's like odd.
It's usually what the hell is that city above Kalamazoo? Grand Rapids?
Yeah, Loddington.
Maybe
Grand
just
Wow.
just a little bit south of Grand Rapids and up. Gets hammered every week.
Is what rain or snow or both?
Both.
Yeah, a lot.
Snow during the snow seasons and rain during the rainy seasons.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you, people say, "Oh, you live in Michigan. You don't know what a freaking rainstorm's like. You don't know what hard rain is like." Be on the west coast of our state. Be off the coast of Michigan when those storms come across Lake Michigan. I'm telling you right now, you got fucking get off the road. You can't see a damn thing. I mean, it comes down like a fucking monsoon.
Oh yeah.
I mean, do I get that where I live? From time to time, we get a hard rain. But I'm a long ways away from Lake Michigan. So if you're close to Lake Michigan, like Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids, all that, Holland, Ludington, Traverse City, and a storm comes in off those damn Great Lakes, you better be prepared. You're going to get hammered.
Uh-huh.
It ain't no different than being in Florida along coastlines. I'm sure anywhere like California, anywhere where it's coming across.
It gets nasty over there.
Well, especially in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
The winter, the west side of the state, I'd have to say like Holland, Michigan,
Benton
Grand
Harbor, Holland.
Grand Rapids, and up get hit the hardest. Kalamazoo, yeah, they get hit, but they're kind of south.
Mm-hmm.
But you're in the right area across Lake Michigan. It just gets hammered in that whole area. I think we went,
No brain.
I think we went the whole month of June with probably only getting a couple of light rains throughout the whole month, but July has been raining as hell. Which is July is normally our drought month. May and beginning of June and mid-August and on are usually our wet months.
Well, look what happened in Texas last month. I mean, they got hit week after week after week for what, almost 3 weeks straight.
We're getting hit so good here that it's almost a chore to try to keep up with grass cutting.
Hmm.
You don't even need to fertilize. You don't have to put nothing down. It's green as hell.
Right.
You get your truck back yet? Your Chevy?
Oh yeah, picked that up Saturday before we left back out.
And what
Picked it up Saturday.
What all did you have rebuilt? Just a trans, or did you have the transfer case and trans rebuilt?
Just a trans. Transfer case was still fine, but transmission had third and fourth was completely shot.
That's odd. Usually it's the low reverse band that goes to shit. Reverse and first. I'm sure they were all shot.
No, actually, he said reverse. First and second were fine, but third and fourth, forget it. They were done.
Do you know it usually does that when they're pulling a trailer and they're manually shifting? That's what will burn the high gears out usually.
Well, those Chevys, the 460, make sure you put it in tow haul mode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you're towing anything of size, I'm not talking about like picking up a 15. I'm not talking about like a 1,500-pound trailer, or you threw 1,200 pounds in the bed of your truck. I'm talking if you're pulling a load.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking like, let's say 3,500 pounds plus, 4,000 pounds plus. You should be in tow haul mode, so it doesn't try to kick that bitch into overdrive.
I asked them.
You try to put that bitch in overdrive, you're gonna start turning that tranny up. That's the weakness of the 60.
When we picked it up, I asked him how much he charged for a 4L80. He says $2,800 installed.
You don't need that though, unless you're going to be beating the shit out of it.
I told him I plan on upgrading after the warranty's done on this one.
I wouldn't worry about it. If you built that thing right, you should be good for at least another 150,000.
I wanted to upgrade it this time, but I just needed to get back on the road.
Well, that's nice.
I don't think you need. How often are you pulling a big load with it? How often you load the hell out of it?
Not often.
And how often will you probably ever do such, considering what you do for a living?
I don't know.
I'm sure that if he properly rebuilt that 460, was it LE?
4L60, I guess. I don't know. Shit.
Yeah, 4L60. If he properly rebuilt that, you should be good for at least 150 grand plus.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Just don't overheat the tranny. And contrary to what anybody says, either flush it or change your fluid every 60,000.
Yeah. And
use full synthetic.
Yeah. And a little bit of that Lucas doesn't hurt either, because it helps extend the life of it. But the honest truth, when it comes to upgrades, you already had the clutch packs replaced. The only real upgrades that you benefit from are valve body upgrades, and you don't have to remove the transmission to do the valve body upgrades. They can just pull so if in the future down the road you want to do any of the upgrades, they just have to pull the pan, drop the valve body out, and do the modifications. So
that's a good question. Raging, did he rebuild it with standard clutch packs, or is it an upgraded clutch pack kit, or don't you know?
He put a brand new remanufactured reman transmission in it.
So he didn't rebuild it. He got it from somebody.
Yeah.
Do you know who he got it from?
No.
How much did he charge you?
25.
How in the fuck did that guy make any money?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to wonder. That's why I was telling him
I mean, that four-wheel
however he got this deal.
Four-wheel drive. Tell me I'm right or wrong. It's like basically pays about. If you got to take the transfer case off, pull the tranny off. You're looking at what, like R&R, at least 7.5, 8 hours labor, maybe
4
more.
hours to R, 4 hour on the year of his truck. It's only about 4 hours R&R to actually do the transmission, but the rebuild, just the rebuilding of it alone with the parts, even in US dollars, is about $200 to $2,500 just to rebuild it.
Yeah,
So how he got it that cheap?
Torque converter and all that, and he
Yep.
bought it from somebody else. Which there's only a couple in the United States. There's only like 4 of them that I know of. They're big remanufacturers.
Yeah, and National's one of the best ones. National's one of the best ones.
The tranny alone would have cost them damn near what they fucking charge Raging.
He looks like he's doing really good for his shop. I mean,
But he's obviously got a good source and good prices.
Yeah. He's got a hell of a good source.
Obviously, I mean,
I mean, the truck now shifts like a dream.
Never know.
I
It could be one.
can't complain.
It could be one of those transmissions out of that company down in Mexico that's now shipping internationally. There is that new company down in Mexico that seems to be doing really good transmission rebuilds, and they're tossing them out pretty cheap. So it could be one of those. But for everything that I've heard from the people that have used them,
it can't be ones that I would be questionable about. It can't be a Jasper.
No.
He would have lost his ass on a Jasper at that price.
Yeah.
Which Jasper is either going to be a great transmission or it's going to be a real shitty one. It depends on who the guy was that rebuilt it.
Mm-hmm.
It more than likely is probably a National. He probably has some sort of deal with National or something like that.
And there is a big place up in Wisconsin that is that National?
I think that's National. I think Wisconsin's National.
There's a big rebuilder, and I've had very good luck with their stuff.
Yeah.
It might be National. I want to say it comes out of Wisconsin.
That's the thing is,
Well, it comes to me anyway. It comes out of Wisconsin.
Because even ordering Nationals up into Canada, like because they actually have a facility up here, so they don't have to pay duties transferring product from facility to facility. So when I order transmissions, I actually always order them from National because I get them at good prices with the US dollar, and they get brought across with no tax or anything like that. So, but I've never had a problem with National, never.
84 Epic or KRL 1033 72 inch. Mm-hmm. I'll get a new box one of these days.
KRL is a Master Series, right? I'm pretty sure KRL. I don't know. I lose
Possibly.
No, it's a KRL's a fucking. That's a Snap-on Master. It's a triple bank, 72, 30 inches deep.
Oh Lord. But anyways, I am tired as hell. I didn't sleep well last night, and I ended up waking up early this morning and had to sit on the porcelain god throne for most of the morning. But I think I'm gonna go to bed, so I'm gonna let you guys go. Have an awesome stream, Dave, everyone in chat. You're all awesome. You're all superstars. Raging, awesome seeing you again. Sorry about the incident the other night there. Sorry you were part
Yeah,
of that.
that's between you and him. I got no beef on that one.
No, I don't have any beef either. I'm just sorry that you that you had to listen that you listened to it. I'm so sorry. I apologize on my end for it. So, to you, so. But yeah. But anyways, you guys have a wonderful night. Have an awesome stream. Drive safe, Raging. And don't work too hard, Dave.
No, I'm not gonna work too hard.
Shit.
Well, thank you guys all for watching. I'm gonna link is up. Anybody wants to jump in and shoot the shit for a few more minutes? I'll be up for another 15, maybe 20. But otherwise, y'all have a good one. Raging always says,
Y'all keep those wheels spinning, you beavers grinning, and avoid Mater Workshops live stream.